Hello, I'm Paddy from creativemedia.org.uk, and I'm going to do some car camping, and I'm lucky enough to have just got hold of a Volkswagen ID3. Now, I've never camped in such a high-tech car, certainly not an electric car, with kind of keyless entry and all kinds of fancy things. So I've really no idea what's going to happen if I try and sleep in this thing, whether it will take exception to me being in there, it will set off some kind of alarms, or who knows what. So I'm going to try this out at home and see what happens. Here's a bit of a warning about the ID3. When I've got the boot open, these lights seem to be staying on permanently, which will be eating up probably the 12-volt battery rather than the main battery. So even if your main battery is nicely charged up with 100 and something miles, these might be eating up your 12-volt battery, and if that's flat, you're not going anywhere after you finish camping. So I guess you want to keep your boot shut a lot of the time. Here is my bed all made up, and as quite a change from usual, I've actually left the left seat upwards and the right seat has gone down, because when I dropped the left seat, as I usually do, and left the right seat up, it was just far too narrow to fit the bed in, and I really felt like I was sliding downhill. The car is on a bit of a slope, so yeah, I don't want to be rolling out of bed. But having this left seat is still useful. There's I've gone into this in one of my other videos. It's really handy to be able to sit on the side of the bed with your legs dangling down, or have a seat in the back you can sit on. So that's good. While we're at the back, here's a warning note about the ID3. Crawling into bed, the top of the boot is very low. Or I should say, you know, the base of the boot is quite high. In order to keep the base of the boot with to a similar level to the folded down seats, this base bit here is raised up. I could actually take this level out and have another several inches of ground, but then I'd have a big step up to the seats, which I could fill in with storage areas, such like. But even if I did that, I've still got this thing, and I've already bumped my head on that once. I've now shut the boot, and this little LED that I mentioned before has gone out. I think it's an LED, but it is feeling warm, so it must be using up a fair bit of power. I've got a very narrow rear windscreen. The good thing is it's easy to block if I want to have some privacy. And up above I've got these little lights. They're not showing any signs of turning on. I know the ones in the front you can press them and they light up. No switches on these, so I can't just use them. I've got a big ring light, which I'm using as my lighting source, which is, you know, totally independent to the car. And here's my little power bank, which I'm using to power that. The car does have these USB power supplies, USB-C, which the ones in my car are a little bit flaky. It's a bit hard to find a plug into USB-C connector to power things from, and these will only work when the ignition is turned on. And I think the ignition has a habit of turning itself off, timing out after a while. So yeah, my initial recommendation is to use a power bank of your own and get all your power totally independent from the car, because then you're not going to worry about whether the car's going to not work after you've stopped your camping. Will the windows open? Let's check that out. No, the windows won't open, but I can probably get them to open if I switch on the ignition. I've just pressed the ignition button, which is quite scary because I'm in the back of the car and I'm kind of feeling like potentially the car could just start moving. Hopefully it won't, but it's a bit too clever of a thing. I've got these auto lights turned on as well. I'm going to turn off the light auto button. And can I turn off the screen? I don't want that lit up in the night. Oh, lit up in the night. Maybe I can't. Maybe that screen's going to be on. But actually what I'm trying to do is open the windows. So let's see if I can open a window a little bit. Oh yeah, windows will open. So I can open them just a crack. And while I'm here, I wonder if I can use the only thing on the voice control that I can make work. Let's try this. No, that's not going to wake up. Open the sunroof.
Open the sunroof. Open the sunroof.
It took its time, but the sunroof is opening. Yay! Now that's a really special thing for car camping. What I'm going to try and do now is turn off all this electronic stuff. So I press the off button. There still seem to be a lot of things on, and I'm going to note that 159 miles and see if that's gone down if I make it through the night. I think I'm going to be stuck with a certain amount of things on the screen. That's going to make things a bit lighter than I'd like, and obviously be using up battery power as well, which is a bit worrying. Here at the top of my bed I've got these two pockets, which aren't too deep. They're about that deep. Two pockets there. I could put my toothbrush and things in there, or some keys, or things I want to have handy. Pepper spray, something like that, depending on where I'm camping. Two more on the other side as well, so that's good. I've got some storage down there. And can I sit on the side of my bed for dressing? Yes, I can. So got lots of room for my feet. Got lots of space here for putting my clothes or suitcase or rucksack. I can get in and out through this side door. And at a pinch, I think I could still get in the front seat and move the car if I needed to, without having to move too much. And since the top of my bed here is just on a piece of plywood and the parcel shelf, that'll slide back easily. I've got some storage down here in the central column, either to put things on top of or to slide back and put things inside. And that's easy to get to from my bed. A bit more storage at the front. More USB sockets here, but yeah, like I said, won't work unless the ignition is on. So I'm going to rely on my power bank. I could maybe do something with these two armrests as well. I could put a little piece of wood across there and make another little storage area that I could reach from bed. So yeah, quite a lot of scope, certainly for single car camping, and I think for double car camping this would work quite well, but it's not really something I do on the whole. You can probably tell it's pretty hot in this car. I'm not going to use the air conditioning, or obviously not heating, but that's another option if it's cold. I'm not going to use those because I really don't trust it eating up all the battery or such like. I think the air conditioning uses the main drive battery rather than the 12-volt one, which is something that I can charge easily. I've no idea actually whether the 12-volt battery actually gets charged up or whether it just goes flat. It must charge up, but I don't know. So yeah, I'll speak to you again maybe from bed when I'm actually going to bed. I'm setting it up while it's still a bit light, and hopefully speak to you in the morning with a car that still works and having had a good night's sleep without being woken up by the car complaining because there's somebody in it. Okay, it's 11:30. I'm ready to go to bed, and it's proper dark, but there's still a little bit of light from the screen. I guess that's just going to be on all night. What I am going to try is turning off. I'm locking the doors from inside the car with the key thing. I'm not sure whether that's going to put it into some kind of alarm mode. I've really no idea if this car's got an alarm even. Anyway, here goes nothing. Or something. Whoa! So the car has locked itself. There's a little kind of ticking, flashing noise. The keyring is flashing. I'm suspicious of that. I don't like that. I think I'd rather unlock it and not have that little ticking noise, because that was worrying me, that ticking noise. So as it is, what's on? The screen... No, the big screen is now on. The kind of smaller screen behind the steering wheel is off. But I've got a time display on the big screen, which I guess is using up some battery, but just fingers crossed it's not using up too much and the car will still work tomorrow. Anyway, good night. Hopefully I won't get woken up in the night by an alarm going off or something. Oh! The car's just locked itself again. It's going tick, 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 tick again. I'm going to open it again. This is not practical. I've put the keys on the front seat and I'm going to see what happens there. See whether it tries to lock itself again. I think if it does and keeps making that ticking noise, I'm just going to go back into the house and not try camping in this car at all. It's done it again. I'm not going to be able to sleep with that ticking away because it just sounds like a ticking time bomb or something. Until I find out a bit more, I'm going to declare this not a car camping friendly car, and I'm going to go and sleep in the house. Yeah, a short time after that ticking noise started, the car alarm set off. I could stop it by pressing the lock or unlock button or something, but yeah, that car is not friendly to car camping. So I'm going to go to sleep in my bed inside the house instead. Okay, it's about 5:10 in the morning, and I've not spent the night in this car because of that alarm going off, but I woke up early and I thought I'd give it a second chance. I got in the car, unlocked the doors with the key thing, and I'm not going to touch any buttons on the key. I'm not going to try and lock the doors. I'm just going to leave things exactly as they are, and hopefully no alarms are going to set off. Good morning. Things are looking a bit better now. It's 7:20 now, and I've had a sleep in the car. I've been in here for 2 hours. No alarms have gone off. I've not had to fiddle around with the key at all. In fact, I've just not done anything with this key. I've not pressed any button, well, apart from pressing the buttons to get in the car. I've not messed with anything at all. The windows do not operate at the moment because I guess the car's entirely off. The screens are all switched off, totally blank. There's no lights on in the car. None of the internal lights seem to work. It's possible that there might be a button on the door that would lock the doors from the inside. I'm not sure, but I've not tried to do that because I was just terrified about the alarm going off again. So I would say camping in an ID3 is possible. The only thing is the length. I'm about 5'7", and if I were any taller, I'd have to kind of bend myself a bit to fit in with where the seats will go. The seats are quite limited as to how far forward they tilt. If they could tilt further forwards, I could be several inches taller, or if they could push further forwards. But that is the main limitation, I think. And this height of this thing here being a bit lower than I'm used to in other cars, getting into the boot, you have to be careful not to hit your head. After my short sleep in the car, I can see the predicted mileage is still 159, so that's good. And the car will still turn on, which is also good. The windscreen is misted up, but that's on the outside, not the inside. So that's nothing to worry about. In fact, I can probably just wipe that off. I didn't hear any buzzes or squeaks or any strange sounds from the car either. It was just totally silent, which was very good for sleeping in. So thanks for watching. If you camp in an ID3 and you've got any good tips, let me know. I can add them to the description down below.